on today's show, all right, it's probably best for the Dallas Mavericks to tank. That would make sense. Get this draft pick, get another guy to pair with Cooper Flagg, but they're not going to do that. They're going to go for it. And so we'll tell you what would make it worth it for the Mavs to go for it. Today's Locked On Mavs.
This is Cooper Flagg, and you're listening to Locked On Mavs.
I think that's a good question.
Good morning, Isaac. All these changes, I still got my dog, Dwight Powell.
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave.
Your team every day.
I'm going to get a city like that.
And welcome. You're locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years. Thanks for being in every day and making Locked On Mavs your first listen and making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network out there. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com. Place your NFL live bets all season long. Joining me, as always, my co-host, media member covering the Mavs for over 10 years, right alongside me, the Go For It Fiend, the One More Thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Shout out to everyone who listened to our pod yesterday.
Yeah.
You got
the
an
whole thing.
extended long episode on YouTube. So there you go. We don't do those very often, but shout out to all the positive feedback for the long show yesterday.
That was a fun one. We'll do those once every quarter or so for the season. We'll do one of those, and that was a lot of fun with Slightly and Isaac. So if you missed that one, go listen to that episode. But today, we want to talk about the Mavs going for it because I don't think they're going to tank this season. They're going to try and go for it. They're going to bring Kyrie back. They're going to try to do the Anthony Davis, Kyrie, and bring everybody back and see how far they can go. They're not necessarily under the win now Nico Harrison vision necessarily anymore, but they're under something right now. And so we want to talk about what would make it worth it for them to go on a run. And for them to go on a run, how would they have to go on a run? So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about a bunch of different things, but let's start here. Logically, I think it makes sense for the Mavs to tank. We talked all about it yesterday. You made the case a lot on the show yesterday when you and Slightly were going back and forth, and I was just I felt like the kid in the divorce. I was just going back and forth, like, okay, dad side, mom side, what do I do?
It's like, I'll buy you an Xbox when you come to my house.
And then Slightly was like, I'll buy you a PS5, and I was like, oh, okay.
Like, crap. All right. Well, I'll get you ice cream every time.
But it makes sense logically for the Mavs to tank this season. They don't control their draft pick after this year for the next 4 years.
Be careful saying that, Nick. You'll have people.
They don't control the pick.
No, I meant saying that they should tank.
Building around, those people are going to be mad. Building around Cooper Flagg is not a right now situation. It's a in the future. Get somebody around them. Look at what the Spurs have around Victor Wembanyama. Dylan Harper had a great game tonight against the Pelicans. They already have Castle. They already have some other young pieces as well. Obviously, what the Thunder have done, they're an outlier, but still, they got Chet Holmgren. They got Jalen Williams to put with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Look at what the Pistons have. Cade Cunningham with Duren, with Jaden Ivey, even with Ron Holland, with Asar Thompson. Look at even what the Rockets have with getting Amen Thompson and Reed Shepherd to go with Alperen Sengun. And then they added Kevin Durant. And the Mavs kind of did it backwards where they're like, all right, we're going to get our older pieces first. Then all of a sudden we get gifted Cooper Flagg, and now what are we doing? And so I think to tank and find the next piece to pair with Cooper Flagg long term is the best thing. But the Mavs are going to go for it. I don't think that they're going to trade Anthony Davis tomorrow, right? And so they're going to try and go for a run. They're going to try to bring Kyrie Irving back. And I think that that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. So, I'm not going to rehash all the tank stuff. I do think it's funny, though, for me personally, that work for the team and freelance for the team and for 5, 6, 7 years was called a homer and too positive and how I'm biased and all the things. And now the tables have turned, and I'm like,
and Nico's gone too. It's like, yeah. And Nico's gone. So it's like, why would you?
And all of these factors have lined up perfectly for me to be pro tank this year. And everybody's like, dude, he sucks. Isaac sucks for being negative. And
they probably thought that before anyway.
I mean, well, yeah.
I love the people that listen every day like Isaac sucks. Listen every day, Nick sucks.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, though.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go down the tank thing. So the question that I was kind of throwing back at Slightly yesterday to the crowd of hey, just ride it out. Just ride it out. Play the game. Just see where it lands. How far do you think they could go? If we answer this first question on the screen there on YouTube, what would make a run worth it? If they go for it,
yeah.
And we'll detail all the things that would need to happen for them to make a long playoff run? What would make going for it worth it? What would in first, it's like, what is the cost of like, hey, what's the cost for going for it? And let's just say that now, like you most likely lose a higher draft pick. There is a chance you don't make the playoffs and you go for it and you land at, 12, 13, 11, somewhere through there. You could make the playoffs and then, you're obviously not in the top 14 at that point. So the cost of it is you don't trade Anthony Davis. You do risk the injury stuff. You risk the higher draft pick and the one chance at a future building block around Cooper Flagg moving forward that a lot of these other young teams that we all love and we're all super high on right now, Pistons, Spurs, Rockets, like you were talking about, we kind of lose that chance right now. So what would make it worth it for that cost, to pay that cost? And this is where I think it all differs, right? Like, I think there's probably like a lot of listeners out there. It's like, dude, if we make it to the play-in, the rest of the regular season and a play-in game for Cooper Flagg would be great for his development. If you have that opinion, like, okay, like, cool. I don't think it's worth the cost for that. But you might. And so then it's like a playoff series. Is it worth going for it if you match up with OKC in the first round and get swept, or you win in one game? Is it worth it then? For me, what would make a run worth it? It would be like a deep playoff run. It would be a Western Conference Finals. Yeah. I think the cost, I just think that cost is a heck of a cost. Like, I think that is a risky cost, but if you're willing to give that up, I think, and you make the Western Conference Finals and you face off against OKC or, whatever it is, like, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the cost. But for me personally, making the playoffs and getting steamrolled in the first round against OKC, I wouldn't say it was worth the cost.
And you've got to get, I think to make it worth it, to me, you'd have to get to at least 7 or 8 in the standings to be able to not play OKC in round 1, because there's just no chance that you could
7 or 8 in the play-in seeds. Yeah.
Yeah. In the play, or even just the West standings, because there's just no way you're going to beat OKC. I just can't see a scenario where you do, unless multiple players for them get hurt or stay out or whatever happens. And so to make it worth it, to me, I think you got to get there. And then I think if they even got to the second round, had a competitive second round series, I think I could talk myself into that.
I could hear the argument for that. Yeah.
Being worth it for that kind of experience, especially Cooper Flagg being able to see the playoffs early. I think that's something that's helped Anthony Edwards to see playoff success early. And then, but he's made two Western Conference Finals. And so that's something too. But, and then playoff experience early for John Morant didn't really help him either. So there's two sides to that coin for sure. But I think to make it worth it, I think to just go for it, I think there is something to the idea of being competitive in all these games. I was listening to Locked On Wizards today, and
but that was fun.
Our friend Ben,
well, not against Ben, but
Ben, it's like, they suck. Not the show, the Wizards. They're very bad. And their coach, Brian Keefe, had this whole thing about, we've taken a step back. And Ben on his show was like, where was the step forward ever? Like, where was the step forward for this team? They have not been competitive. We were promised this team that had some vets, that had some young players that were supposed to be competitive and definitely lose a ton of games, but at least be competitive and show some fight. And I think there's
step forward was that Dallas win they had.
Yeah, right. That they got that second game of the season. There is something to be said about trying to stay in it and keeping that culture and that mindset of we want to win every single game. I think there is something to that. And even just going on a run and going for it, I think keeps you at that level where even if you fail at that spot, you keep this competitive level. And the Mavericks have not been successful this last year or even this year yet, but they have kept that competitive fire. And I think that's because they've been going for it over this stretch. Yes, they have vets and all that too, but I think there is something to be said about that mentality.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I am fully in that camp of like that mentality. The opposite of that mentality hurts prospects more than people think in a consistent year by year losing. it's the franchises that commit to the. And I hear the argument from them and fans and everything. It's like, dude, we just need as many bites as you can at the apple to get that prospect or to get multiple prospects in there. I get that. It would suck, but I think consistent losing year after year after year after year, with the exception of SGA and OKC, which wasn't too long.
I was gonna say it was 2 years, and they kept him out of a lot of those games. They like held him out, and I was like, I think that probably did a lot of good for him to just like, hey, we're just gonna hold you back from this losing.
Yeah, I just it affects the habits you form, and just so much stuff whenever you're committed, you're tanking year after year after year, and that's where I'm like, this is a 1 year thing for Dallas because they have zero incentive to tank for the years to come, but. Yeah, I think it does affect players, and it would be fun. It would be fun for Cooper and those guys to. I will say if they go for it, air quote, go for it, and try to win all the games, I think they're going to win more games than they're getting Kyrie back and stuff. So will it be enough games to crack the top 6? I don't know about that, but I think they'll win enough games to be in the play-in for sure.
And so they are going for it. And so what would make it worth it? I think some kind of
right now.
I think it just seems like it.
Yeah. I think it's important to say that I think it feels like they're going for it right now, but they could flip a switch super fast in the next few weeks and ship off Anthony Davis next week. And we're like, whoa, that was crazy. And then all of a sudden somebody tweaks something. And it's like, oh, PJ's out for a month. And then it's just like, well, they're losing all these games. So I wouldn't say definitive right now. The Mavs are going for it for the rest of the year.
Okay. They are right now, though.
At this exact moment, yes.
At this exact moment in time. This is the information I have now. This is what I think they're doing. I think they're going for it. Coming up, we're going to go and tell you what would make it worth it and how the Mavericks could go on some kind of run that would make it worth it. Let's talk about that and more coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of props and odds, things that you can use to get in on the action. Go check it out and see what you can get. All kinds of stuff happening all the time. Isaac, you're a big NBA Cup guy, just a huge NBA Cup fan. Oklahoma City to win the Cup, -135.
Whoa.
I just want to see OKC have to raise the cup after winning the title last year. You think how excited do you think they would be? Would they be barking? Would they be excited at all?
They'd have everybody like around each other for the interview.
Well, they always do that. It would just be a regular game. Knicks +500, Lakers +700, Magic +1,000, Heat +1,200, and Spurs +1,500 to win the NBA Cup. You can see that and all kinds of other things on. You can see it on FanDuel, and you can also bet on stuff live during games as well. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your live NFL bets and NBA bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, so can you.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, and we have another thing to add to this experience with Locked On Mavs. We've got this thing called the Everydayer Club that Locked On has announced. They've been kind of teasing it for a while, and it's the Everydayer Club. You make us your first listen, and you make us the #1 sports podcast network. We appreciate that. You already live your team every day, so now take it up another level and go ad-free. You can get this show ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club and get Locked On Mavs without ads, which is awesome. So go check that out. You can go to LockedOnMavericks.com. LockedOnMavericks.supercast.com we'll put the link in the description. And so you can do that. It's $5 a month, $50 a year. You can go there, LockedOnMavericks.supercast.com, get the show ad-free. There's also a Discord that we're starting with this, so you can be part of that Discord. There also may be like a Locked On Mavericks Discord that is part of that thing that we're starting, because we've waited way too long to do a Discord for this show. But
we have.
Go check it out and be part of it, the Everydayers Club. Get shows ad-free, get access to the Discord. Also, access to extra national bonus stuff as well. So check that out. Link in the description. All right, all right, Isaac. Let's get into.
My hair's not that long.
Not anymore. When I met you, it was. Let's get into what would make it worth it for the Mavs to go for it right now. I think the experience of Cooper Flagg actually being in competitive games all throughout the season with some of these vets, I think playing next to Anthony Davis, especially at the 5, has seemed like it would be worth it. And the Mavericks may get Kyrie Irving back. I think playing with Kyrie Irving, because if they don't go for it, I think they shut Kyrie down for the season. And if they do go for it, then Cooper Flagg playing with Kyrie Irving, I think would be great for his development too. That's another thing I had.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see him play with Kyrie more than anybody. Yeah, I'm really excited for that. And I do think that even if they do flip the switch and want to go south more than north, there's a way that they can bring Kyrie back and still achieve that, I think. But Cooper and Kyrie on the floor together, I'm really excited to see that.
That would be huge. All right, so the Mavs have to go on some kind of run to make it worth it for us to see this season through. How do you think that they could do that? And how far do you think an AD Kyrie team could go?
Yeah, well, I think first for them to go go on a big run and for the rest of the year, climb up into the play-in, go on a deep playoff run. It all starts and ends with Anthony Davis. You get the full slate, clean health from this point forward, and almost in tandem with that is you get an agreement for Anthony Davis to play the 5, and with some sparing minutes at the 4, because you're seeing that it has, shocker, it's working with Anthony Davis at the 5 and then playing a point guard. Who would have ever thought that? But I think it just starts and ends there. If they get a healthy Anthony Davis for the rest of the year and Anthony Davis willing to play the 5 for majority of his minutes out there with a PJ and Cooper at the 3 and the 4, then that's the biggest thing, I think.
That would have to happen. And we're also operating under the assumption that Lively is not going to play the rest of the season. That's kind of where we're operating right now. It has not been announced by the Mavericks yet. He's still seeking another opinion. And so we'll see. There's a chance that he could play, but I'm just looking at it I don't think he's going to. And so if that's the case, then yeah, we've got to play Anthony Davis at the 5. And I think that's the best way to go. I think there will be times when it's more beneficial to play Gafford next to AD if he comes back, or Musa, or maybe even Dwight. But right now, AD at the 5, Cooper Flagg and PJ Washington, that 3 makes a lot of sense, and it is they're winning games with that trio. So I think you do have to get that agreement from AD, and he may not have to agree to it because right now, injury wise, he has to. There's just nothing to agree to.
If Gafford stays out, then he kind of has to play it as long as
the Gafford thing. I don't even know if we've seen healthy Gafford all season. He just keeps coming back from that ankle and then just going out with the ankle and coming back with the ankle and going out with the ankle. Ever since the
even when
season,
we fired off some of these numbers the other day. Even when Gafford was healthy, they obviously didn't like that pairing because they've played 0 minutes together. So, that's something to think about too. Is even if he does, when he does come back and he's healthy, do they just bring him off the bench and AD cool with that? But then there was the AD quote the other day of I'm just waiting on them to come back and slot back into the 4. But so you got the AD part. If they're going to go on a run, what needs to happen for them? And then I think the next thing is Kyrie's got to be at least 80%, right?
to go on a run. Yeah.
Yeah, 90% for them to go for it. If you're in the camp of hey, they should go for it because I think that they can go on a deep playoff run, then you need Kyrie. Well, hopefully if you're in the camp of go for it, then you believe that they can go on a deep playoff run, because I struggle with the, hey, I think they should go for it, but I think the highest they can go is one play-in game. I struggle with that camp. That's the Chicago Bulls, Billy Donovan camp. And or Sacramento Kings. I struggle with that. What
do you
camp,
think about? What do you think about? I think that camp is even to the point of you just owe it to these vets to go for it.
You owe your future.
Yeah. I've seen that comment. I've seen that comment a lot.
How this business works. Yeah.
Well, it does work that way because we have seen teams do that, and then it destroys their future. Like you said, they owed it to Kobe Bryant to pay him this massive contract.
Kobe's one thing, yeah,
but then they couldn't do anything with it. They owed it to. Just look at all these teams. But yeah, then you have the Chris Pauls just getting thrown out on the street for no reason.
Yeah. You need to, if you're in the camp go for it because you think they can make a deep playoff run, then that's because we believe that Kyrie Irving is going to come back and be at least 80%. You probably need him to be 90% to go on a deep run. You need him to come back and run this team, be, that source of offense, set up the other guy, like just be everything that probably not be at peak, level of Kyrie of the crazy acrobatic in the lane type of shots all the time. You hopefully that would be awesome, but expecting that right off the bat, even maybe, at the end this regular season coming off the ACL might be difficult, but yeah, you would need that high level of play from Kyrie. And I think he can do it. Like, I love Kyrie.
You'd need an agreement from AD to play the 5. You'd need Kyrie Irving to come back at 80%. Coming up, what other things would have
need
to happen?
AD to be healthy. Yeah, too.
Need AD to be healthy. And Kyrie to be healthy. Check too. And everyone else to be healthy. What else would you need for the Mavs to go on a run? We'll talk about that more. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile, you've got your wireless plan right now, and it's draining your wallet, right? All of us. We look at the bill every month and you go, dang, I'm paying that much for a brick that just pulls stuff out of the air. Especially during the holidays right now, Mint Mobile is running their best deal of the year. All their unlimited plans are 50% off. That means you can unlock 3, 6, even 12 months of unlimited premium wireless for just $15 a month. It's the easiest way to take your overpriced phone bill and give it the Scrooge treatment. Still don't really know what they mean by that. What makes this even better is how simple Mint makes the switch. No contracts, no nonsense, just real savings and real quality service. Switching to Mint lets you get your same coverage for a lower price. Setup takes only a few minutes. You can bring your own phone and number without any issues, which is awesome. It feels good knowing you're not paying just to stay connected, not overpaying, all that. Turn your expensive wireless present into a huge wireless savings feature by switching to Mint. Shop Mint Unlimited plans at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Limited time offer, upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, $180 for 12 months. Plan required, $15 a month equivalent. Taxes and fees, initial plan term only. Over 35 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Capable device required. Compatible device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, Isaac, we're talking about what would make it worth it for the Mavs to make a run, and we think a kind of deep playoff run. 1 playoff series win, definitely 2 would make it worth it. But what would have to happen for the Mavs to make a run like that?
Well, 1, we'd need more Jim Harbaugh quotes, because Jim Harbaugh, the Chargers coach, after this Monday Night Football win, said he puts this win in the discussion of the birth of his 7 children and his marriage.
He won a national championship with his alma mater, Michigan, like 2 years ago.
Just want to throw it out there that this Monday Night Football win was that level for him. All right, so we covered AD, Kyrie. If they're going to go on a run, what needs to happen?
Yeah.
I think that Ryan Nembhard has to continue playing at this like crazy level.
Shoot 68% from 3 the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's because they need, one of the biggest things about this team, the biggest weaknesses about this team, even going into this season, was the lack of ball handling on the team, and then the shooting problem. And I actually have right underneath this, if they're going to go for it, I think they need to trade for more shooting. I think they need to make some type of smaller trade out there to add another shooter to the rotation to go for it. But I think you need Ryan Nembhard to be that, like, for sure locked in backup point guard, because Kyrie comes back, Kyrie's starting, and you need him to be that guy that's like, all right. Or, yeah. I mean, I guess you can talk me out of it, because yesterday you're like, it has to be one of him or Brandon Williams. I just kind of view Nembhard as like the better player. I could be wrong in that, but
I agree. I just think there are some nights where it'll be Brandon Williams' number called, but I think it's been more likely Nembhard's if he's going to continue to play like this.
Yeah. So for them to go on a deep run and for them to go for it and everything, like, I think Nembhard has to continue playing it. Maybe not 67% or whatever, but like continue to play at like the best basketball of his career, which is what he's playing right now.
Yeah, 53% from 3 for the season from Nembhard so far.
It's crazy.
They do have to trade for more shooting, because it can't just be Klay has had a surge recently, which has been awesome to see. He's been shooting really well. He's up to 35% from 3 for the season, which is good. Max Christie still at 46% from 3 for the season. And then after that, you're looking around going, all right, Hardy's shooting 42%, but how much of that is an actual regulation time? Nembhard has had his run recently. And then you have like D'Angelo Russell at 29%, PJ Washington at 33%, Flagg at 25%, Naji at 31%, Anthony Davis at 33%, Brandon Williams at 19% from 3. Like these the Mavs have not had enough 3-point shooting from any of those guys, and they're acting like a early 2000s team where you had big man, slasher, shooter, point guard. Like you have to have more shooting than that in 2025. And so I think they do have to make a trade for a shooter.
Yeah, especially when it comes down to teams are getting out of the regular season rotations. They're trying to get more of a playoff type of feel, and especially when you get into playoff type of basketball, a play-in game or a playoff series, make it that far, like you got to have more shooting at that point. That's when all the schemes and all the coaching stuff comes into play, and you got to have more shooting. So I think if they go for it and they make a deep run, it means that they traded and got another shooter in the rotation.
What if I told you they had a shooter that was lights out in the Eastern Conference Finals a couple years ago on the roster right now?
I would say that man is gone.
2 of 13 from 3 so far this season, Caleb Martin.
Dude, he barely played the other night.
I know. It was a good decision from Kid.
I know. Yeah. Kid's still switching some things around. With Cooper, I thought about this too. I'm like, what would have for them to go on a deep playoff run? What would have to happen with Cooper's year this year? Because I already think he's rookie of the year. I've always felt that. I mean, I guess you can say after that like first week, VJ had a better first week than Cooper, but I could hear the Knipple stuff, but I just think from start to finish right now that Cooper's been the rookie of the year for a while, and he'll continue to keep that. But what would he have to do for them to go on a deep run? It's like he's already clutch. I guess be more aggressive. I guess we'd have to get probably a little bit more aggressive go-to type of guy, but I'll go back at myself too. For them to go on a deep run, would he have to? Because in this scenario, Kyrie and AD's healthy and Kyrie and AD's on the floor. So he might not have to go up to that next level on offense. So yeah, that I struggled with what to say about what Cooper would have to do.
Here's the thing that's not necessarily Cooper's fault, but they would have to start winning his minutes. That's a thing that
don't look at his plus minus.
But that's what I'm saying. They would have to start winning his minutes. And so how do the Mavs start winning his minutes? And I think that's a thing that it's not necessarily what Cooper has to do, but that's a thing that overall this team, their starters would have to be a lot better.
Yeah. I agree. Long pause. You froze on my side. I was like, is he thinking or is he
big? I was looking up to see they've been they're positive in the Houston game, in the Miami game, and the Pelicans game from late November, and the Portland game over the last 3 weeks. Those are the only games that they've been positive in Flagg's minutes, and that's a thing that's like a big red flag that I'm watching. His on-off numbers have also been bad too, because that starting lineup has been bad.
Yeah, starting stuff. I put one an asterisk at the bottom of this, a non-Mavs thing. If we're talking about what would have to happen for them to go on a deep run this year, would you have to have an injury to another West team somewhere near the top for you to go on a deep run?
I'll go a different way. I think it would have to be to a team in the middle, so a team can fall out, right?
Yeah,
I think you'd have to have the Suns kind of fall off from where they are. The Warriors maybe would have to fall out.
Yeah,
maybe the Spurs fall off a little bit.
Which you could see that
the Timberwolves. Yeah, any of those 4 teams I think would have to fall off a little bit.
I was thinking about this too. I mean, OKC's so deep. It's like, is there an injury on their team that would make everybody rethink everything? I mean, I guess SGA if he had some crazy injury. And
they just had a 30-point win without him the other night.
I know, but I think that would get some fans really, because then it's like, oh, okay, then you can make a. So anyway, I just thought about that, but that's why I said conference finals. If they went on a run and made it to the conference finals, then all of the cost of not tanking is worth it at that point.
The Thunder are on a 78 win pace.
Dude, they're insane. They're absolutely insane. And I do love the people that are like, dude, are they that good?
Yeah.
They're overrated. I was like, what team are you watching?
I could understand that a little last year, but but now it's out the window.
Yeah.
They've proven everything.
Yeah, they have so much depth on their team too, and
they've had injuries too. It's not like they've just been completely. Remember that they had that year where they're like, oh, they've just been completely healthy, and that's the reason why they've just been better than everybody else. That was the year the Mavs played them, and then when the Mavs played them, that was it.
And they still have like young guys like Topic hasn't played any because of his health stuff. Big Sorber, Thomas Sorber from Georgetown. That was their first round pick, and he tore his ACL in camp. Like, they just have these first rounders that are just like waiting in the shadows.
Brandon Carlson has been playing minutes for them here and there.
Yeah, he's been decent, and then they have all these draft picks to come. It's just insane.
AJ Mitchell, they have him for like $3 million a year over the next like 2 years.
Dude, he's so good. Lefty, the Santa Barbara,
He's built like Brunson too.
Yeah, he's fun. I'd like him on the Mavs. That'd be fun.
Any other thing the Mavs would have to do to make a run?
No, I mean, Kidd. I think Kidd would have to have some of the best coaching of his career. It's something going into this year. It's the first year without Luka, with him here in Dallas, and implementing a new offense with Triano coming in, and so for them to go on a deep run, I think we'd look back on it and say that's probably the best coaching that we've seen from Kidd, especially in his time in Dallas, maybe before that.
The offense defense has flipped over the last couple of weeks. The Mavs over the last 2 weeks, 9th in offense, 24th in defense. And so that's very flipped for the Mavs. And so I think the defense combined, like we were all excited about the Mavs offense looking competent again, but the defense would also have to get back to the state that it was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, that's good. It's crazy though that you give me that stat and what Slightly said yesterday, that we've had a couple weeks of that and they're still 30th.
Yeah.
It's like they've had two straight weeks of being in the top 10 in offense and they're still 30th in the league. It's like, holy crap.
Well, they're still top 10 in defense too. So,
yeah.
Take it on both sides.
Yeah. Well,
they're in this camp though of teams with 109 offensive rating. Kings, Pacers, Wizards, Mavs. That is a group. Right there. I know.
But like, look at their upcoming schedule though. I mean, especially in the camp of like, go for it. Then you're excited about this next stretch, right? Like you get the Nets coming off 5 days off. Jazz. Like that's huge for this team right now. Just getting everybody. I mean, Cooper's got the thumb thing. We know Anthony Davis. Like just getting everybody. If this is the cost of not going to Vegas, then you get 5 days off right now. Like it's pretty nice.
Especially for like Gafford's ankle. PJ's had a couple of things. Cooper's thumb. I'm sure there's a couple of things here and there that they love to get some rest.
The Pistons game will be a fun one. They played them in Mexico City. Didn't look great, no. But Pistons playing really good basketball. Cade's awesome, and that'll be a fun matchup to see. Kind of like this new Mavs team.
Yeah, this next stretch is interesting. We'll have shows coming up covering all that. Go check that out. Also, go check out the Everydayers Club where you can get ad-free episodes of this show. Link in the description. Also, our text line, our subtext is still going to continue on through all this. So subscribe to that, and we'll give you alerts and updates on that. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.